Joining us to discuss the latest developments from the ICC, we have Attorney Gilbert Andres, an ICC accredited lawyer. Magandang umaga po sa inyo. Attorney?
Magandang umaga, Gretchen.
There you go. Okay. First of all, there are several developments coming from the ICC. The first, which was in that report, the ICC Pretrial Chamber 1 rejecting the disclosure of communications between the ICC registry and the panel of medical experts. What was the rationale for the request coming from the defense?
Well, the defense wanted to use it for their own purposes. They wanted to use it, whether to check how the report was actually produced. And suma total nito, gusto nilang malaman kung ano po yung naging communication between the registry and the panel of experts. But this was denied. This request was denied by the pretrial chamber, and their appeal, their request for leave to appeal was also denied.
Oo, yun nga yung gusto ko itanong, what is the request for leave to appeal?
Okay, ganito kasi, Gretchen, hindi kasi lahat ng mga issues ay pwedeng automatic i-appeal. Oo, so base sa Article 58, yung incidental issue lang kasi ito, kasi as of now, the pretrial chamber has not yet decided on the fitness to stand trial. Dahil incidental lang po siya, kailangan po ng leave, kailangan po ng approval ng pretrial chamber para mag-appeal. At kailangan po i-justify ng defense yun based sa Article 58 of the Rome Statute. Kaya yun, nagkaroon po ng request for leave to appeal yung defense, which was denied by the pretrial chamber.
Oh, but what could have happened down there in the communications that the defense would have wanted oversight on? Bakit kaya parang did they want to understand the language in this in the way the medical report was requested? Help us understand.
The way that the defense was trying to argue is that they want to also know kung ano yung communications between the registry and the expert, so that they will know, apparently, allegedly, kung merong mga other instructions, kung naapektuhan ba essentially yung results ng expert panel. But I'd also like to point out, Gretchen, that according to the pretrial chamber, the defense already has a inkling on what those communications were kasi naka-indicate din po siya dun sa naging expert panel report, which the defense has a copy of. That's the reason why the pretrial chamber denied this request for disclosure.
Okay, kasi dito sa I do remember one of the things that they tested for was the truthfulness of being able to assess one's own health, Parang may ganun na exam, 'di ba? Yung parang very basic. I think it was a coin test.
Performance.
Yun, oo. So do you think that was one of the goals, to be able to look kung may request ba na ganun, to assess the ability to yung truthfulness in performance with all of the medical exams?
That may be one of those, but it's really difficult to divine. Mahirap talagang mahulaan anong gusto ng defense. Kasi in the first place, this is only an incidental issue. Hindi pa ito yung merits ng fitness to stand trial kasi hindi pa naman siya na-decide ng pretrial chamber. So dahil incidental issue lang po ito, hindi po grant ng pretrial chamber yung request for leave to appeal.
So kumbaga hindi na makakarating ito sa appeals chamber. Okay. There was another request by the defense, which was to have the court-appointed doctors to come up with an urgent report focusing on the risks that he faces amid proceedings for his crimes against humanity case. This was also rejected. What was the reason for this request?
Okay, yung ano naman yung request na yan is for the expert panel to also give the report on the supposed risk for an interim release. Kasi remember, there are three types of risk, for na dinidetermine, when an application for interim release is being applied for, Una, the risk of flight. Second, the risk of affecting the investigation. And the third is the risk of committing the crimes charged. But as you know, Gretchen, these are actually legal terms. These are not medical terms. So I think the pretrial chamber has thought na hindi naman to sakop actually ng original scope ng dapat i-determine ng three-person expert panel. Ang three-person expert panel ay magde-determine lang po ng mga issues ng medical condition ni Mr. Duterte. Kaya labas na po ito. Kaya po, I think that's the reason, at the heart of it, that's the reason why this request was denied by the pretrial chamber.
Okay. And added to that, the defense also has asked again for interim release for Duterte on the same grounds as the initial filing, but this time attaching a medical report from experts on Duterte's health when it comes to those risks that you talked about, yung tatlo po niyan, related to interim release. Did this medical report come from their own medical expert panel? If the request to get that report from court-appointed doctors was denied, itong medical report na inattach po dun sa bagong filing for interim release, did it come from the Duterte side?
Yes, I think so, Gretchen. And in fact, that report that was attached by the defense is also confidential. So we don't really know what was the contents of that report. But based on the allegations of the defense, based yun sa experts nila. But again, ang challenge kasi dito, yung problema kasi dito, yung defense, hinahalo nila yung issue ng interim release at yung issue ng fitness to stand trial. But ang pretrial chamber, siniseparate po yung issues na to kasi hindi po sila magkahalo-halo po, maguguluhan po lahat po. Kaya yung issue po ng fitness to stand trial, hindi pa po na-determine ng pretrial chamber, pero yung issue po ng interim release na determine na yun ng appeals chamber, na deny na po yan. But meron pong review process, and in fact the pretrial chamber has asked for comments, observations, both from the victims as well as from the prosecutor, from the Office of the Public Counsel for Victims, as well as from the defense. Kaya yun po yung proseso ngayon, yung review po with respect sa interim release.
But what I do know is that this has been rejected already by the appeals chamber, and you would need another 120 days to review the ruling. So, wala pa tayo sa 120 days, hindi po ba?
Yes.
Oo.
Okay, tama ka dyan, Gretchen, na 120 days. But this will be reckoned dun sa pag-decision ng pretrial chamber. I think more or less it was September. So 4 months from September, so October, November, December, January, more or less January 27 po yan, yung 128th day. If I'm not mistaken po ng comments at observations yung pretrial chamber, bago pa man po yung 120th day pong yun.
So do we expect this to happen over and over again over the span of the former president's detention over at the ICC, that they will challenge this interim release ruling and based on again medical grounds, mostly medical grounds.
Oo. On the part of defense, hindi ko po mahulaan ano pong magiging hakbangin nila. But on the procedure po ng ICC, nandun po yan sa Rule 18 ng Rules of Procedure na every 120 days ay magkakaroon po ng review and at least once a year magkakaroon po ng review vis-a-vis the issue po ng continued detention ng isang suspect po.
Now, going to that medical report that they attached to this new interim release request, would you have any idea how they were able to get that medical assessment? May pumasok ba ulit na mga bagong set ng doctors from the Duterte panel? Is that allowed?
Actually, mahirap talaga sabihin kung anong naging procedure, no? Kasi these are confidential matters. But I think ito pa po yung from the start, na expert na kinuha po ng defense. That's my hypothesis po. But as to really how to determine it, remember these are covered by confidentiality due to the privacy of health matters. Okay, it's really difficult to guess.
Now, regarding the issue that you brought up a while ago, na pinaghahalo yung dalawang kaso ng fitness to stand trial, pati yung interim release request, I would like to go into the arguments made by the defense. The first ground on granting interim release is the ability to evade supervision. The defense team has argued that the former president lacks executive functioning, sustained planning capacity, rapid decision-making, physical stamina, and consequently, the ability to evade supervision. Kaufman said yung capacities ng presidente are either clearly compromised or practically unavailable in his current condition. Do you agree? I mean, what would you say to that?
Well, I disagree with that because in fact, based din sa defense observation, dati pa, they quoted, indirectly the expert panel which states that Mr. Duterte is competent to actually participate in pretrial proceedings. So, ang mahalaga lang po, meron po siyang kakayahan para maintindihan po yung mga charges sa kanya at para maintindihan po yung kanyang rights, And again, this is a separate issue, yung fitness to stand trial, pati po yung interim release. Kasi yun nga, pinaghahalo-halo nila na dapat po hindi nila pinaghalo-halo. Kaya yung pre-trial chamber, ayaw din pong paghalo-haluin yan. Kasi yung flight risk po, iba po ang determination po niyan. That's a legal term at hindi lang po yan directly related po sa sa
kalusugan ng Pangulo,
health ng isang tao o sa condition ng isang tao. Kaya po hindi po pinaghalo-halo yan yung dalawang na yan ng pre-trial.
Kumbaga ina-argue nila na hindi naman tatakas ang dating Pangulo kasi kumbaga hindi na niya nakaya tumakas. That was the argument of the defense when it comes to an interim release request, which does not really give him the freedom but allows him to stay in another country that would host him. The other argument here on the threat to witnesses and integrity of the investigation, sabi ng defense na such a risk would require sustained attention, initiative, organizational skills, and ability to coordinate intermediaries, capacities that the former president lacks at present. As representative of the victims, what would you say about that?
Well, actually, kung tingnan natin yung appeals chamber, dinanay na nga yung appeal, base na rin po sa tinatawag na network of supporters na ni Mr. Duterte. So, at yung influence po ni Mr. Duterte. So, I think for the part of the victims, talagang meron talagang anxiety kung magkaroon po ng interim release for Mr. Duterte dahil siya po ay influential pa rin po at hindi lang po siya, pati po ang kanyang pamilya. Kaya po for the victims po, they were very thankful po na hindi po nag-grant yung application for interim release, at ganun pa rin po ang kanilang prayer po na hindi po mag-grant yung any request for interim release.
And for potential regarding the risk for continued offending by the detained person, ang sabi naman ng defense na yung impaired executive functioning ng dating Pangulo, the lack of sustained attention, and inability to plan and sequence his daily activity would negate the ability to oversee complex chains of command. Do you think the president, the former president, has the capacity at this point to continue crimes against humanity, given his state?
Well, in the first place, yung allegations of alleged impaired executive functions, sa defense lang po yan, hindi po yan yung conclusion ng expert panel, kasi in the first place, sabi nga ng expert panel, Mr. Duterte is competent to participate sa pretrial proceedings. So I don't think that should be a factor that should be considered dun sa third factor, kasi ang issue dito yung kakayahan, at mayroon pa rin pong mga probability. Kasi Gretchen, yung test lang naman talaga dun sa 3 flight risk is not the certainty. It's only the possibilities chamber in Napoleon na mayroong possibility na pwedeng mangyari yung 3 risks na yon if there's an interim release.
I was looking at another document yesterday coming from the ICC, was just released, parang victims' view of I think the health of the president. I could not understand that document well, no? Pero it did talk about the confirmation of charges and that it might happen soon. So, kailan nyo ho inaasahan itong confirmation of charges? At for us to remember, since we've gone through so many issues ahead of that, what should we expect to happen in the confirmation of charges hearing?
Okay, first, we should first expect na magkaroon po ng decision yung pretrial chamber on the issue of fitness to stand trial. Now, the chamber na fit nga si Mr. Duterte to stand trial. So, yun na po yung mag-schedule po ng confirmation of charges. Now, kailan po yan? Talagang mahirap pong hulaan, but hopefully, early this year po. At yung calendar po ng ICC is January 27 is the opening of the judicial calendar po ng ICC. Kaya yun po yung mga antabayanan po natin.
Okay, so fitness to stand. Pero sa confirmation of charges, anong gagawin doon?
Okay, dun sa confirmation of charges, the prosecutor will actually present evidence na magsasabi na dapat ituloy na po sa trial proper. So yun po yung pinaka-issue dun sa confirmation of charges, na i-prove niya po yung charge 1, 2, and 3 na dapat po ituloy po to trial proper yung counts 1, counts 2, and counts 3 po against Mr. Duterte.
Okay, and the prosecution has submitted 1,303 pieces of evidence to the camp of former President Duterte over the last 7 months of 2025. What is contained in those pieces of evidence?
Okay, yung latest na disclosure ng prosecutor is relevant with respect sa mga elements of the crimes against humanity. It's also relevant dun sa mode of life charges, at it's also relevant dun sa potential na defense ni Mr. Duterte, kasi remember, the prosecutor is also duty-bound by the Rome Statute to also include evidence that may exonerate the suspect. Kaya patas lang po ang pagtingin ng prosecutor, both yung incriminating as well as yung exonerating evidence. Ngunit the prosecutor has emphasized in the latest disclosure na hindi po ito yung mga evidence that will be presented dun sa confirmation of charges.
Bakit mahalaga yung ganong distinction?
Malaga yung ganong distinction para full disclosure kasi Gretchen dun sa ICC walang taguan ng ebidensya at full disclosure din kung anong i-present ng prosecutor sa every step of the way including confirmation of charges. Kaya mahalaga po talaga yung disclosure duties ng prosecutor as well as ng defense and all parties po.
In simple talk, ipinakita na yung ebidensya lahat ng ipipresent sa ICC pretrial chamber but not to the defense yet. At hindi ipapakita sa sa confirmation of charges.
Actually, pinakita na rin sa defense pero in-indicate lang ng prosecutor.
Okay.
Na hindi po ito yung mga evidence na ipipresent sa confirmation of charges. Pero pinakita po, nilalabas po ng prosecutor yung lahat po ng barahan ito sa defense po. Kaya wala pong puwang ang defense para sabihin hindi namin alam yan.
Okay.
Kasi talagang full disclosure for all the parties.
A lot of decisions coming out of the ICC. Thank you for helping us break them down and understand the legal jargon surrounding all of these issues. We got the health issue, we got the jurisdiction issue, and the interim release issue, and also the upcoming confirmation of charges, all hopefully within the year. Maraming salamat for your time today and explaining all of that to us. We have ICC accredited lawyer, Attorney Gilbert Andres.